Welcome to the SEC Preview Show on CBS Atlanta. I'm Guy Rawlings. He's Wayne Gany. You know what? It's time to get loose.
Yes, get loose.
You know how we do. Time to get loose, and he's the moose with the juice. That's how we do things around here.
There we go. Now you look comfortable. Now we can get our job done.
Unbutton this, and we are ready to roll. Let's kick things off with Georgia hosting Vanderbilt. Last year, things got a little heated towards the end of the game, and afterwards when coaches kind of went at it, Wayne.
Yeah, defensive coordinator Todd Grantham, head coach of Vandy, James Franklin, had their words. Some of the players as well had words at the end of the game, which sets up a game that usually people overlook because it's Georgia-Vandy to be a heated battle tomorrow.
It could be tighter than people think. James Franklin on the focus on not of last year's game, but on the future.
No, I think everybody else is going to talk about it, but I know Coach Rick's going to focus on just going out and playing the game and competing in the fundamentals and the X's and O's, and that's what we're going to do. An emotional, passionate game, and was it a great game last year on the field and all those things? Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. But we're gonna go out there and we're gonna do what we do every single week, which is play with passion and try to execute.
Yeah, whatever, Coach. Don't want to talk about last year, because you lost last year, but you have an opportunity to win this year.
Yeah, trust me, Guy, that is not what he told his team. He comes into this game wanting to make a statement. Vandy still knocking on the door of proving that it belongs in the SEC. Trust me, he used anything and everything he could to get his players up for this game. But Georgia coming into this game ranked number 5, looking for big things for the season, really showing that they are a team to be contended with in the SEC East. Their defense got some of their players back last week. Jarvis Jones, defensive end for the Bulldogs, is still nursing an injury with his groin, but I still see the Bulldogs really with Aaron Murray and that offense and Todd Gurley doing his thing as he seems to be doing this year, really prevailing in this in a big way.
Right. And Murray digs the long ball, 12 completions of 25 yards or more. His head coach was talking about Vandy.
Vanderbilt is an outstanding team. For the last 6 times we played them, it's been a margin of 10 or less. And of course, last year they really about stole it from us. But they earned it. They blocked punts, they faked punts and made it. They had a kickoff return for a touchdown. They got after it. So we've got to do a lot better there, and we just got to continue to improve on both sides of the ball.
All right, the Bulldogs have won 16 of the last 17 games in this series. So
don't you love just Coach Rick's and I don't know how we're going to win this game story? Coaches love to try to play it down to the media, but in actuality, he knows he has a good team, and if his team goes out and executes, Vandy doesn't have a chance really tomorrow up in Athens. All right,
well, let's move on to South Carolina. They had a big win over ECU last week, and they are facing Mizzou, who's still, this will be their first SEC road game.
Yes, and they want to make a statement loud. They couldn't do it against Georgia out in Missouri. They're going into South Carolina, still feeling confident that they belong in the SEC. What they have to do is figure out what they're going to do at quarterback. Last week, their quarterback, James Franklin, decided that he wouldn't finish the game with an injury, so he has to build his confidence with his teammates. Steve Spurrier, the head old ball coach, is going back with Connor Shaw, which I really believe this is, because the best way to beat a spread offense is to sit it on the sideline. So how do you do that? With Marcus Lattimore running, with putting a quarterback like Connor Shaw, who loves to run and can convert those third downs on the field and eat up that time and make that Mizzou offense sit and watch.
Right. Now, at one point they thought maybe this would be the battle of the backups. So both starters will be playing tomorrow.
Yes, Connor Shaw got hurt in the Vandy game. Came in last week, played the first half. Dylan Thompson came in the game the last 2 games, throwing for over 500 yards, about 5 touchdowns, has really shown that if Connor can't continue, that he can step in. And you know the old ball coach. He says one guy plays, but that could last one drive, and then he throws in the backup. He's known for that.
That is very true. And who won't be playing, though, is DJ Swearinger, one of their top defensive backs for South Carolina. He's been suspended for a helmet-to-helmet hit. Here's Steve Spurrier on that situation.
DJ Swearinger is going to miss the game. Commissioner ruled that his helmet-to-helmet hit above the shoulders was against the rules now, and it was certainly worthy of a penalty. So he is suspended, and we're going to live with it, and DJ will be ready next week.
Penalty, yes. Suspension?
Well, Guy, for about 100 years of football, that was how you played. Now, in the era of concussions, they really look at safety for players and are trying to make sure that you stay from, above the shoulders. I don't think you can suspend a player for that kind of hit. You start getting into dangerous waters when people can miss games for whistle-to-whistle hits. Now, it's different if you do something after the whistle, after the play, sure, on the sideline, but during the time of the whistle, yes, throw the flag, send the team up 15 yards, but I don't know about missing a whole game.
Right. Missouri 2-1 into this game, and as you said, they're really trying to establish something in the SEC because they haven't really had a chance to do that yet. Yeah,
they have to go out, get the ball early. Mm-hmm. They have to execute. If they let Jaddonovan Clowney and Devin Taylor dictate the end for South Carolina at the defensive end spot, it won't matter where Swearinger is. He can eat popcorn all day.
All right, more SEC preview show when we return, including a look at LSU and your team, Auburn. And welcome back to the SEC preview show. A cat fight in the Jordan-Hare Stadium tomorrow as Auburn hosts LSU, second-ranked LSU.
It's going to look more like a lion against a kitty cat because the LSU Tigers are for real. They're 3-0. They're number 2 in the country. My Auburn Tigers barely winning last week in overtime against Louisiana Monroe, 31-28. They still haven't found the offense. If you watched the game last week, you saw them using trick plays, gimmick plays, anything that'll get the ball in the end zone. But this week, against that type of defense they have at LSU, it's going to be hard.
Yeah, they got a ground and pound kind of offense game, talking about LSU here. But you're right, I don't understand. Auburn had to use trick plays against Louisiana Monroe?
Yeah, the offense under Kyle Frazier has just not found its way. Ontario McClellan got off a little bit for Auburn, but LSU coming in with that running attack. Alfred Blue is out, but he wasn't even leading the team in rushing this year. Kenny Hilliard was doing that, and last year's rusher, Michael Ford, is back for LSU. So it is not going to get any easier, and Auburn has their hands full this week with LSU. The only bright note I could find, and I dug for one for many, many hours, was that 11 of the last 12 games has been won by the home team. So the game is in Jordan-Hare Stadium. So, hey, maybe that's something we can cheer about, at least for a quarter.
A little something to hang your hat on, right? Well, the Gators are coming off a huge win at Tennessee, and they'll be hosting Kentucky tomorrow night, and that's going to be a fun game for me to watch anyway.
Yeah, Florida shut me up last week, so Guy must apologize. Florida went into Tennessee and came back in the second half, and they're showing a lot of character in Gainesville. That defense and those coaches deserve a lot of respect. First half, they struggle a little bit, but second half, they come out of the locker room, making the adjustments and almost shutting teams down in the second half. They did it in Texas A&M. They did it last week in Knoxville. So you have to take your hat off to the Gators and Jeff Driscoll and that offense, showing a lot of heart in the second half. I don't think they're going to need a second half in this Kentucky game.
Right. 2 big back-to-back road wins for them. Oh, Mike Gillislee leads the SEC in rushing, so he's really come on for the Gators as well. And by the way, also, Kentucky hasn't beaten Florida since I was a freshman in college. That was 1986.
Telling your age. You're showing your age.
Do the math. All right. Arkansas, they got smoked by Alabama last week. They'd like to get things right this week, but it could be tough against Rutgers.
Rutgers has a great defense, and really this is all about Arkansas. They can't seem to stop anybody on defense. Their offensive line can't stop anyone getting to the quarterback. Quarterback Tyler Wilson has called out his team saying that against Alabama, he felt like some of them quit, so maybe that'll light a fire under them. But it's about them just trying to win one game and not sulking over that we're no longer in the national title hunt, and just trying to get that win and get back into that winning spirit.
Arkansas trying to keep it moving. When the SEC Friday Night Preview Show gets back, we'll take a look at the rest of the slate in the SEC. Plus, can the Jackets snap a 3-game losing streak to the U?
This program is brought to you by Ford. Go further.
As you check out the rest of the SEC schedule, I'd like to remind you to join me and 790 The Zone Steak Shapiro for SEC Wrap-Up. That's tomorrow night after the Mizzou, South Carolina game. Some great games around the conference going on tomorrow. But Georgia Tech, got to do a little ACC because it's Georgia Tech's right down the street. They are hosting Miami. Miami's really had their number for the past 3 seasons.
Yeah, Guy, but as I was driving over tonight, I could have sworn I saw Tevin Washington, the Georgia Tech quarterback, still running through the defense. He dismantled Virginia last year through the air and on the ground. Right here, making a big play down the field. Miami have owned the Tech the last 3 years, but if you watch the game last week, Miami can barely stop anybody running the game. And guess what? The Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets love to run the ball, as you can see. So Miami coming here, even though I'm a Florida boy at heart, I really don't see them being able to hang out with the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets.
And speaking of Florida, I had a wardrobe change.
I see.
My friends from Loudmouth Pants sent me this jacket just to have a little fun after
What is that,
big...
a Super 120? What cut is that?
That's a very good question. I have no idea. But I got to give them a shout out and kind of show them, it actually fits. I'm shocked.
Go Gators.
Go Gators.
You might be back, Guy. You might be back.
All right, we're out of time. Wayne Gany, Guy Rawlings, thanks for joining us.